Did you ever hold yourself back from going for a dream because of your weight? Today's guest, Marie, knows that feeling and what it takes to move beyond it. Marie is an emergency room physician who spent years giving to everyone else while her own self-care slipped to the bottom of the list. Between odd shifts, stress, and "I'll start again tomorrow," she felt stuck until she discovered a different path. Through the shift, weight mastery process, and hypnosis, Marie learned to align her mind and habits, starting with small, doable rituals like a calming meditation in her car after work and quote-unquote marriage therapy walks by the ocean with her husband. She released the weight, quieted the food noise, and reclaimed energy for the life she really wanted. And then she did something bold. She celebrated by paragliding over the Dolomites in Italy. Yes, literally lifting off into a new chapter, lighter in body and in spirit. This conversation is more than numbers on a scale. It's about using your whole mind to create freedom, joy, and the confidence to say yes to your dreams, whether that's a peaceful holiday season, a daily walk, or floating above the Alps. So if you've ever postponed a dream because of your weight, today's episode will help you see what's possible when you stop starting over and start shifting your mind. Did you know that our struggle with weight doesn't start with the food on your plate or get fixed in the gym? 80% of our weight struggle is mental. That's right. The key to unlocking long-term weight release and management begins in your mind. Hi there, I'm Rita Black. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, weight loss expert, best-selling author, and the creator of the Shift Weight Mastery process. And not only have I helped thousands of people over the past 20 years achieve long-term weight mastery, I am also a former weight struggler, carb addict, and binge eater. And after 2 decades of failed diets and fad weight loss programs, I lost 40 pounds with the help of hypnosis. Not only did I release all that weight, I have kept it off for 25 years. Enter the Thin Thinking podcast, where you too will learn how to remove the mental roadblocks that keep you struggling. I'll give you the thin thinking tools, skills, and insights to help you develop the mindset you need, not only to achieve your ideal weight, but to stay there long term and live your best life. Sound good? Let's get started. Hello, 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 hello. And hi, come on in. Happy November. Come on in. I just love it. Love it, love it when dreams come true, don't you? And I don't mean that in the Cinderella fairy dust, pumpkin sort of way. I mean when someone truly changes how they see themselves and their lives by changing from the inside out. And so that is why I'm so excited to have my guest, Dr. Marie, on. I heard Marie in our membership talking about going paragliding over the Dolomites, and I was like, what? Marie, you have got to get on the podcast and tell us about that. I don't know if you've ever been to that part of the world, but it is just gorgeous. And I was just, my mind was blown that she glided over that whole area. And she did it because she finally felt good, in her body. She said, I felt light enough to have, go on this thing with somebody behind me and all of that. And I just can totally relate to that. Just my weight held me back for so many years from just going for the things that I wanted to go for. And it wasn't just about the weight. It was just about how I related to myself. So I'm really excited for our conversation. But before that, this week, I just want you to know we are doing this fast sort of offering of my free online masterclass with weight release hypnosis. So if you've ever struggled with eating over the holidays, I don't know, have you? I mean, did you intend to be healthy and then it all went to hell in a Thanksgiving cornucopia shaped basket? Well, move over because you've got lots of company. Lots of it. Because most of us struggle not because we're lying to ourselves with wanting to be healthy over the holidays. No. I mean, we get so mad at ourselves. Like, I wanted to be healthy. Why did it all go to hell? Is because 88% of your mind doesn't care that you want to be healthy over the holidays. It just wants all the holiday goodies it has come to know, and it's going to fight hard to get it. Once that train has left the station, it's an express trip that doesn't end until January 3rd. So listen, I know when I struggled, I could gain easily. Like what it was every year, it was like, well, how much am I going to gain this year? Is it 10? Is it 20? Is it 30? Because I have literally gained almost 30 pounds over the holiday season. So my masterclass is going to help you intercept that subconscious mind, help you work with it so it's not working against you, but it's aligned with you, so that you can have a happy, healthy, light, and connected to yourself holiday. You know, I know the holiday food beckons, but there's something deeper about staying connected to yourself through the holidays. And it doesn't mean not eating your favorite holiday treats, but it means showing up for yourself and truly taking care of yourself. So in this masterclass, we'll do a healthy hypnosis session for weight release so that you can just experience hypnosis, have a really relaxing and focused holiday where you are taking care of yourself and your health comes first. So you can check it out. The link is in the show notes. It's free. It's online. You can access it from your phone, your tablet, your desktop. Super easy. Go to the show notes, or if you don't know where the show notes are, you can go to www.shiftweightmastery.com/free. That's www.shiftweightmastery.com/free, and just sign up. Now, let's jump off the cliff into my conversation with Dr. Marie. Well, hello, Marie. Thank you, and welcome to the Thin Thinking podcast. I've been excited about our interview because selfishly, I want to hear all about your adventure, but I want to introduce you to our listeners as well and have them hear all about you and your story.
Oh, thank you. I'm very glad to be here. I'm very happy to share my story. And I've I've learned a lot from your group, and the Facebook community has been a wonderful support for us. And the Shift community is something that I'm going to have to keep up with because they are my biggest support system outside myself. And so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I've been listening a lot to, other people talking about the power of the group. And something I didn't know. I mean, I knew that studies show that people in groups, any type of group that is a support system, do better, stick with things longer, have larger success. But and I had a feeling it was subconscious, but I didn't. I just recently heard that one of the reasons this is true is that when we see people a little ahead of us on the road, like who've been in the game, whatever the game is, whether it's business or health or um, knitting or whatever your thing is in that group, you subconsciously want to up level to where they are. Like you just that is a human drive and desire point. And I understood imprinting, and maybe because I know you're, and I can't wait to hear about your emergency room doctor things. But I mean, maybe when you were an intern, or maybe you have doctors you look at and you're like, oh, what they do is so cool. But I was just like, oh, okay, I get that. Okay, that makes 100%, because you can't help but assimilate because our human brain wants to
survive and do better and do better and do better and to up level and iterate and reiterate and having people around you who are in the same place doing the same thing and finding different ways of doing that, it just gives your brain so much more access to what works. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So Marie has been with us for a while, and I was when she posted in our group about a trip to Italy where she went parasailing, which we will be hearing about soon. Um, I was like, okay, I've got to talk to Marie about this. But please, Marie, t start with where you started with your own weight journey, because I know you've had quite a patchwork,
Back
like
and forth.
a path in your life.
So, weight has always been kind of very prominent in my family. Like my parents both struggled with their weight, but
Okay.
wouldn't necessarily acknowledge that. But they placed a lot of fat shaming on my siblings and I. And we were latchkey kids. So we were taking care of ourselves and really putting meals on the table from second and third grade. We were taking care of that. And, you know, you're cooking what second and third graders will eat. Meatloaf, spaghetti. Somebody had talked recently about the block of fish that you would put in the glass oven. Um, Not necessarily the healthiest food. And I grew up in a very Eastern European area. So I made a lot of like cabbage and noodles, cabbage rolls, pierogies. So a lot of Eastern European ethnic food, which can be heavy, that kind of goulash. So you can only blame your parents though for so long in life. I also wanted to get out of the system and be successful. I'm the oldest. Early on, I knew I wanted to go into medicine. I wanted to be a doctor. My mom is a nurse, and so I wanted to be in charge. I didn't necessarily, I'm the oldest, I'm kind of bossy. I wanted to be in charge. So in and I've always been I'm tall. I'm currently 52. I'm 5'8". And I've always been a little or on the big farm girl. Told I had farmer arms. And a little on the bigger side. And when you're tall and a lot of your friends are petite, you're kind of given a pass because, oh, you're tall, you can carry that weight. But I didn't necessarily feel good about that. And I was always on some sort of diet, but not really paying attention. You go to medical school, you would think that you know how to do nutrition. They really don't teach that much nutrition in medical
That's
school.
what I heard. Like somebody said, you get a half day of nutritional training or
You
something.
just don't get a whole lot of information, but you're always like trying to do diet in residency. It's a very male dominated field that I'm in, and all of the guys were on the Atkins diet, on Diet Coke and lots of meat and bacon, and they're losing weight, and I'm not, and I'm quite bitchy without carbs. And so I needed to find something I would try, but I wasn't losing weight. And your cortisol levels up. You're not sleeping when you're doing residency. It was a very stressful time.
Mm.
Um, but my turning point really came in after I turned 50. And really with COVID, we were locked down and gaining kind of weight. I was isolated. I was still having to work. Everybody else is in lockdown, and I'm still going
You
in
were in the front line.
and taking care of people and not knowing a whole lot, especially in the beginning of how to deal with this
Were
and
you
how to work.
scared? I mean, was everybody incredibly frightened at that time when you didn't
You're
know?
nervous, but I was more nervous about bringing something home to my family, like
Mm.
to bring something home to my husband that he would pass on to any of his family. So myself, this was what I signed up for, but my family didn't necessarily sign up for that kind of frontline work.
Right. Can I ask you before you dive into the COVID and your turning point? in between residency and this point in your life, and I'm just curious because I know you and I had a short conversation about really your profession, which is somebody who is giving, 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 and you're on your feet and you're responding, and your job is very demanding. And I know some of our listeners have demanding jobs. We, have and how that took a toll on your self-care, the way you prioritized yourself prior to turning your life around and your health around. Where did you see the pain points with that? Like, would your work cause you, because I have no idea, so I'm just super curious, to emotionally overeat, or just was it neglect and lack of care for yourself like that caused, the challenge?
Well, when I was working a lot more rotating shifts, you don't have really time to care for yourself. But also a regular shift, I never would take time to eat. Like, you don't eat. I have to figure out, do I have time to eat or do I have time to go to the bathroom? I'm gonna take the time to go to the bathroom. And
Wow.
they don't want you to have a whole lot of, food or drinks at your station and during different times. And it's very difficult to get away. And you're there for 10 to 12 hours at a time. So then I would get home and I thought I was eating healthy, but I was probably overeating and eating a lot more comfort food or a lot more calorie dense food that wasn't um, good for me. You don't feel like you have time to exercise. You're going to make maybe sleep a bigger priority, not realizing that if you exercised a little bit, you would feel more energized. But you're just trying to get through the day and start over again. And no shift is the same. So your cortisol levels are always going up and down because you're always in that kind of fight, flight, or freeze mentality.
Wow.
And a lot of stuff I do is very mundane, a lot of urgent care things. Um, but you also spend a lot of time compartmentalizing. You'll have somebody come in who's very sick. It, there's nothing more you can do. And
Mm.
then you do everything you can and you don't make a save, but then you have to go on to the next bed. Um, they recently did a TV show called The Pit, where they show I'm interrupted every 5 minutes. Somebody's putting a piece of paper or somebody's calling me about every 5 minutes. And I was like, that's so true. You're just being sit. You have 3 seconds to read the CKG. Somebody hands it in front of you, make a decision what to do next. And you do. And I'm good at my job, um, but you're expected to carry on no matter what throughout your shift. So, like, there's no crying in baseball,
Right. You're
no
having to push
crying.
down a lot of stuff.
You push down stuff and you find other ways to cope. And sometimes eating is coping.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
then again, when COVID hit, it really took a toll and my weight started going up and I wasn't feeling good. I actually probably had COVID, but wasn't diagnosed with it. But my lab work became very concerning. And I had to go see my own physician and get worked up. And eventually the numbers straightened themselves out. And we never quite figured out. We just assumed I had COVID. And that was what had changed all those things. But I started working on being healthier. And I was looking for other things to kind of calm me down. And I didn't think that meditation would be something that would help because I'm kind of a tense person. But I'm amazed how much it did. But I think that's when I was looking for, I was looking at different books and I saw your ad for, it's kind of the meditation and kind of self-soothing. I had read a book about why French women are thin. Um, and that led me to your book, From Fat Thinking to Thin Thinking. So I read your book in the winter of 2024. That spring, I took my niece to Greece We take our nieces and nephews on a trip, and I look at those pictures, and I'm very hefty, and I look very self-conscious trying to, pose so it's not showing off your belly in different ways. And it's sad to think that you're concerned about that when you're taking pictures with family. I should be just enjoying the moment, not just trying to figure out how to position myself so you can't see that. Um, so I came in and then I started the shift program and I set goals. And, your first goals, so I always consider the end of May when I started. And my goal I started at almost 180 pounds. And I wanted to get down by my anniversary and a Pink concert down to 153 over the summer. And I made my goals working on that. And I had a great time at that Pink concert. I visualized myself in a sparkly top, dancing unself-consciously with all my friends, and we had a great time.
Sounds amazing.
So then, but it was something I could maintain. So then I went on to December. By December, I was still dropping, and I hit what I thought was my maintenance weight of 140 by December. So I've basically been maintaining since December 1st of last year. And though your goals initially start off as numbers, I've had to learn how to adjust my goals. And so I've adjusted my goals to be now more. Um, I want to attach myself to another human and throw myself off a mountain. That was my Italian goal.
I'm gonna
I will get back to
interject
that.
here just because I want to pause and kind of highlight your transition from hitting your goal, which
Mhm.
you did. And I think I remember when you did hit your goal, were you concerned or worried that you were going to be able to maintain it, or did you feel pretty confident that you were going to maintain?
No, I am. You definitely wobble and have a lot of self-doubt, especially if you've gone up and down and yo-yoed
Yeah.
for a lifetime. It's not easy, but what I like about your program is it's not a diet program,
Hmm.
the lifestyle change. And it's a lifestyle change that I was able to incorporate and add my husband to, and that carried over in so many different ways. If people are coming to this program thinking that you're going to tell them what to eat and how to magically do everything, that's not what this program is about. It's about shifting your mindset on how to embrace your life and how to kind of decrease the food noise in your head and make some better decisions that are healthier and figure out a way to have a lifestyle that you may maintain. So I think that's the thing I think I can maintain is the lifestyle that I've adopted here. And there'll be ups and downs, I'm sure.
When you were making these adjustments, because I just want to kind of go back because I think a lot of your tweaks that you made for yourself, being a super busy person and like you said, high cortisol job, all that. I just want to kind of highlight some of the things you and I talked about that really worked for you. One of the things you mentioned to me was, um, we do morning meditations, but obviously on those early shifts, you couldn't do that. So t tell us about like how you worked meditation into your day.
And that's something that I share a lot on the group page because people are really concerned that they can't do the morning meditation. I'm like, it's okay. I didn't do the morning meditations either. I did them in the afternoon. So I usually go into work. I get up at 4:30 and I'm usually at work at 5 a.m. So I don't have time. I'm not going to make time to wake up another 15 minutes earlier to do the morning meditation. But I have found that doing it as soon as I leave work, I sit in my car for 15 minutes and I just listen to that meditation and I meditate before I go home. It gives me a little boost of that willpower that we don't have very much of and realigns me for the evening hours that I'm home. And it also just decompresses me from my day. It gives me a separation from work to go home, and it gives me that time to focus on myself and some self-care, whereas a lot of healthcare professionals, nurses, doctors, or a lot of people I told you don't feel that they can focus on themselves because they've already given so much at work, and then they don't have very much to even bring home to their family, that they don't feel worthy of giving it to themselves. And one of my new mantras is Sybil Shepherd saying, "I'm worth it." The L'Oreal statement from the 80s. Just
I
I
forgot that commercial. That was an awesome commercial.
And so I am worth it. And I sit down in my car and I do that. My husband says he kind of can know when my car opens up or if the lock's on. And he's like, "Oh, she's meditating. She should be coming home shortly." And I give that time to myself. And then I do the hypnosis when I'm going to sleep at night.
Okay.
And I find that that is helpful.
I think
Um,
that I'm just going to talk about what you did and because I just for our listeners, I think that idea, if you're somebody who, like Marie, is going to work and getting really stimulated by your work environment, whether you're a teacher or a nurse or a doctor or, many of us work jobs where we go and, from the time we're there until the time we go, it's nonstop, like boom, 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 boom. What Marie created was very genius. And I will often coach people to take a pause before they go into their home, whether it's they're parking in their driveway or like Marie parking in the parking lot, and slow down their brain, connect with yourself before you hit home. Because then what invariably happens, and I don't know if this was happening for you before you started listening to meditations, is that you'll go home and then the kitchen becomes your numbing point, like your meditation basically. You're shoving food in your mouth and numbing yourself that way and calming down and coming back to center in a completely, you know, non-healthy way. So taking that time and really slowing your brain down, coming to center, calming down your breathing, just connecting with yourself and like you said, kind of giving your brain a refresh is so helpful and genius. I'm glad you came to that on your own.
So another thing that I started incorporating a little bit more and getting my husband involved is then I would come home from work and we live fairly close to the beach, but we have a 3.5 mile loop that we do between the neighborhood and down by the ocean. We hold hands when we walk.
Oh,
Neighbors call us the walkers because anytime they see us, we walk several times a day if I'm off. But it's good marriage therapy too. You cannot be angry at somebody when you're holding their hand.
I love that. That is
It
such great
is,
advice.
you can have those hard conversations when you're both looking forward, and talk about things that are really hard. And we've gotten some very good conversations out of that. And we both look forward to our walk.
Mm.
He understands it's also time for me to vent about my day. He can vent about his day, and then it's gone. We don't need to worry about it. We move on. But it is a way to connect and just stay together. And he's been on the journey, and my lifestyle hasn't impacted him in a negative way. It's actually made him healthier, and I like that. We also then do an after dinner walk just around the neighborhood. We call it our after dinner constitutional, where we walk around the neighborhood and the neighbors all know, well, what did you have for dinner? Because it's doing your after dinner walk.
Sounds like a great neighborhood. I think that, that after dinner walk is so key for longevity. I believe that because it really, your blood sugar insulin that gets shot up during your meal gets re-altered. I mean, they're always when I was wearing that continuous glucose monitor, it was like, you get prompted by the app, like, get up and get walking because now it's all going to your muscles and or the glycogen's going to the glucose going to your bloodstream, go walk. So that after meal walk is always so helpful. That's great that you guys do that twice. And I love that you guys hold hands. That's so sweet,
And
Marie.
my other big aha moment is that I can't eat as much as my husband. My husband is 6'3". You know,
Mhm.
he's an active person. I can't have the same portions as he is. And he's learning, no, I don't need, if I say no, it's okay. No. So I do measure out my portion before I bring food to the table. My husband is a great cleaner. He doesn't cook. Um, he does the dishes. He doesn't cook at all. So I'm in charge of that. And that also gives me ownership of what we're going to eat. He's a little bit of a picky eater, so I do cater a little bit to his wants and needs, but he gets rice for when we do Chinese food. I have rice cauliflower, and we kind of mix that up a little bit.
How did you alter your cooking since it sounds like you were always in charge of cooking? It sounds like you've been cooking since you were a little kid. Um,
And I enjoy it. I really do.
is
Um,
it therapeutic for you as well?
I
Like,
do
mhm.
find it therapeutic, and I find like, and I like to bake, and I like to give food as a gift or make lemon curd or different things. So I do try to make things a little bit healthier, a little kind of shift here and there in how I'm baking. But my biggest is portion control and switching to like rice, cauliflower. I do that. I do more spaghetti squash. I add a lot more vegetables. We always have a salad instead of trying to eat it last. I'm trying to eat it first and then
Mm.
deciding what I'd like to eat. Um, so I still have bread. I still have Spetzel. Um, so there are, I
Yeah,
still have levels
you
of
haven't
those
cut
foods.
food groups from your diet. You've
No,
just changed your
adjusted.
relationship to it.
Yes. And I still have dessert once in a while. I made an ice cream cake last night for a nephew, and I have the 3-bite rule, or I'll have a small piece of that, and then I leave it there. Makes it easier.
That's great. Um, so those are very helpful. I think what you're saying is so important is that what you decided really worked for you was not what you're eating, but more the portion size, and then also adding to what you're eating, like adding more vegetables and swapping out things.
And
And
eating at work now too.
okay.
I didn't eat at work prior to this. Now I bring in like a tuna packet and
Mm.
roasted like seaweed sheets. I call it my gas station sushi. And I can run in the back and I can eat that. So I'm not having that fall. Or I'll mix cottage cheese and Greek yogurt together to make like a little breakfast parfait that's high in protein that I can get started with. I add protein powder. My husband makes me coffee every morning before I go to work. He gets up with me and makes my coffee to hand it to me
Oh,
as I'm going out the door. I don't dawdle when I get up. We get up. He makes the coffee while I'm just getting ready to leave the house, and I'm generally out the door in like 15 minutes from waking up. And
amazing.
he makes my coffee and he puts my protein and collagen powder in there so that I at least have something more than just coffee when I'm getting my day started.
Is so does the protein powder act sort of as a creamer?
Yes, that's
Okay.
what this is
That's a
there.
great idea. I think as some people in the audience might not be aware that you can do that. Like the add the protein powder kind of works. Do
And
you
I
do
make
vanilla or do you
I
do
like chocolate.
chocolate? Ooh, so like
I
a
like
mocha.
chocolate. It's not like a mocha. A little bit stronger flavor to the coffee, and I love that. And but it gets me through the day, and then I'm not famished when I come home.
So
And
important.
that so again, that my husband was always like, "You should eat at work." I'm like, "I don't have time. You really should eat something, taking a lunch. I don't have time." He's like, "It's amazing. You had to eat at work to lose weight." You were right, honey. I needed to do this for myself.
Oh, I know. It's so crazy. I love how you made that work for you though. And have any of your coworkers followed suit? Like what's in the staff room at an ER?
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. And it, The administration thinks that pizza will solve everything. Staff, here's pizza. You don't have supplies, here's donuts. Here's pizza.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it is not necessarily always our break room is never necessarily filled with really healthy things. We
Right.
want to
It
thank
always
you
cracks
with
me up.
sweets, and I get that,
And
but
I think what they feed you at hospitals too is just, I mean, I don't know about the place you work, but I'm just shocked at how atrocious, like who is creating these nutritional menus at these hospitals?
and we have a galley. I work for the government, and they have the galley kitchen, and it's not expensive, but I don't go there because it's calorie dense, lots of it for not too much money. So that's not what I want.
Yeah. Well, okay, now the moment we're all waiting for. So Italy. So how, tell us like where the first seed of Italy was planted.
Oh, my husband and I love Italy. We've gone several times, and we were talking about the Dolomites. We hadn't been up to northern Italy. So as you got to maintenance, I said you kind of change your goals from numbers to changing your visions to these non-scale type of visions, to keep that
Mm.
dopamine fix kind of going. And I love gowns or dresses, so I'll buy those and I plan that. So when we were planning the Dolomites and we do all of our own planning to get our vacations. I was reading about paragliding in the Dolomites. Ooh,
Had you ever thought of paragliding before? Like
no,
was that ever a
not something
fantasy?
that I would do. And we've gone horseback riding, and we're doing all this hiking. And I thought, and you're reading it and you have to talk about your weight. And I was like, I need to feel comfortable enough about my weight to write it down, get on a scale, attach myself to another human being, and throw myself off into the great unknown. I'm going to do that.
I love that.
So I talked to my husband, like, are you in? Okay, let's do it. He's like, okay, sounds great. So we hiked. We love walking and obviously. So hiking in the Dolomites and the northern Italian Alps was beautiful. And
If
we started,
anybody has never been to the Dolomites, I've only been there once. With my daughter had a pen pal that she went and we went and visited her in Austria, and it was a teeny tiny little town on a border between Italy and Austria, and it was like the Sound of Music, right? It looks just like
oh,
the Sound of
so
Music.
much, so much. I actually sent home a video of me. It looks like a movie set in the background, and then all of a sudden you see me twirling like
Oh,
Maria,
Julie Andrews.
Sound of Music
I love
across the. It is beautiful.
Yeah,
So
so spectacular scenery. So you can just imagine Marie is like going up there to go jump off.
we're
He's
walking
like,
and we're going between the eastern and the western Dolomites. We did this in the western Dolomites, is where we did the paragliding, and we're going across. And I'm looking at these sheer cliffs, and I looked over at my husband. I said, "Do you think I'm going to have to like be the first person to jump off the side? I don't know. I'm like, do you think how we're going to do this?" And he doesn't know. It's like, well, anyway, the western side of the Dolomites are these high
okay,
meadows. And so you
okay.
kind of run and trot along with this person behind you, and the wind lifts you up and carries you over. So I didn't
Wow.
have to
Jump.
jump off
Oh,
that.
thank God. Oh my
The
God.
wind lifted me up and then carried me over the edge, and then I could just enjoy the view.
Okay, so I have to build up to this. Did you guys get training? Like, so did
Oh, no,
you,
no, no, no.
what? No?
You got a 5 minute lecture of make sure you're running, like you're trotting, you're gonna feel things pull. Just keep running until, and I'm watching.
So you
There's
literally walk
four
into
other
this
people.
place, you
You
know,
walk into this.
probably sign every disclosure
Oh, you're
agreement.
signing all these disclosures on we're taking the tram up the mountain as you're signing the paperwork, and you
Oh my God. And
so.
then
And then there were four of us doing it.
okay.
And the first girl kind of went, and there's four people helping getting the
All
parachute
the
ready
stuff
to
on
go.
you.
and getting that taken care of. And you watch her go, and they were really gusty winds. And then I watched my husband take off, and he got pulled down a little bit, and everybody's repositioning. And this other guy got drug a little bit, and he's getting repositioned. And then I was like, there's nobody to help us. Like, it's me and that last guy. He's like,
Oh.
let me readjust some things here. And we had the most smooth takeoff, but he said, you just keep running, you'll feel it pull. Don't just stop running because you need to keep going.
And
And then
is he running right behind you? Like,
he's
are
running
you
behind me. And
connected?
it's a trot. It's like you're
Right, you're not
fast
jogging,
trot.
you're
Yeah, you're
mhm.
kind of trotting along. And at one point he's finally like, you can stop running. We're in the air. My legs are just still going. And he's like, you can sit back now. Get yourself comfortable. We're good now. I was like, you just told me to keep going. I'm gonna keep going.
Are you in an apparatus where you're holding on with your arms and or like are you sitting like
You
what?
are in a harness that's for your that's around your legs so that you can eventually sit back, and the harness kind of acts as like a swinging seat for you.
Oh, okay.
And he's
And the
behind you in his own swinging seat, and he actually has like a little pad behind him from when you land. You just gotta keep your feet straight out and land on your bottom so you didn't have to worry about your knees going down, and it was hitting an airbag as you landed across. So it
oh,
was very gentle landing.
so you run and then you're up in the air
You're
and then what are you gliding? You're gliding down into like a valley
into the
or
valley. And so
okay.
you're up at 10,000 feet on some of these over there, and we took a thermal ride. We took the longer one because you would rise like the birds. They'd hit a wind gust and you'd go back up again and then
Oh,
circle
so yeah, it's not just
around.
gradually down. You can go up and
We went
down.
up and down and circled the area, and just was beautiful views. The weather was gorgeous. The clouds had parted long enough for us to enjoy the whole thing. Um, it
Were
really
you
was.
able to relax? Like, was there a moment where you were kind of like, okay, I feel
Within
good.
about 5 minutes of after between like just before going, because your heart is going, that
The sheer
adrenaline's
terror.
going.
Yeah.
My husband's like, I don't know if they're gonna get off. He's already up there, and he's like, is she gonna do it? And once I got up there and I looked out, it was just quiet and beautiful, and it
Wow.
really was something. He even let me steer for a little while, the parachute, so I was
Oh,
very
how
happy
big
with
was
that.
that? How big of a apparatus was this
It's
thing?
a it's a big parachute. And lots of I don't know, he just clipped me in to
They're
make
wide
sure
though, right? They aren't like a
it was
parachute.
very wide, and yeah, it's narrower and wide. So it's kind of a long arc over over your
Wow. And how did you feel about your weight? Like, were you self-conscious at all? Did you, because you were at your ideal weight, so like
I was
you
at my ideal weight. I step on the scale. Yep, match me with my person. Yay, that was good. I didn't mind. You're standing there in front of all these strangers stepping on the scale. I was like, that's
that
reasonable.
is so cool. And so
So,
what was it like landing? I mean, I just want to hear the whole exciting
so you're spinning,
adventure.
you're going
I'm
up
living
and
through you,
down. It's
Marie.
very gentle.
Mhm.
And when you land, he's like, keep your legs kicked straight up. I'll tell you when. Just keep them kicked straight out. And you come in, and that airbag underneath him, we just slid across the field and landed very
Wow.
soft. But when we came down, we had a bunch of little spins. He asked if I wanted to do that. If my stomach could hold it. Oh, yeah, let's do it.
That's so cool.
And worthwhile. And we had the certificate. He was a very nice guide to be tandem with, and we talked. And he'd been doing it for years, and he did acrobats with it, and I was just
Wow. What a job.
so I know, very nice. And we continued to, I will say that, with the shift, you give yourself grace when you're traveling. We ate and drank, but in the Dolomites, it was very easy because you're walking. We were getting lots of big hikes in. We're doing our own picnics, a lot more of that. And then we got down to Modena, and Bologna, and Parma, and we were doing more of some of the food tours there. and then you tend to eat a little bit more without walking as much. And
Yeah.
so he came home, but I know the skills when I come home. I know my traveling like that because I've been monitoring and weighing myself daily. I know that I'm going to be up at least 5 pounds for the first couple of days just from water weight and travel weight
Mhm.
and looking at that. And then you come down, you figure out this is what my true weight is. Okay. Now I know what I need to do because 1 or 2 pounds is a lot easier to lose than 40. And so I make my adjustments and then you're back on. And I was really fortunate because the day we got back, we started this fall shift. And so able to get back in line and coach and just
Great timing.
into it. Yeah.
That is so cool. I have another question about because you can tell I'm like, is this something I ever want to do? Would is it's not like jumping out of an airplane with a parachute where you're hoping the parachute goes, because it's right there,
Yeah.
it's gonna work.
I assume, yeah. I don't think I would jump out of a plane. Again, that stepping off part, I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah.
I like being lifted up. I don't think I
Yeah.
would do bungee jumping. I don't
Yeah.
trust anything to fall like that. But the parasailing or paragliding, I think, is kind of quiet, and I
Yeah.
felt
It
very
sounds
comfortable
it
doing.
sounds really nice. Yeah. I had a friend who turned 50 and uh she wanted to do the trapeze. And that was something where you had to go up on this teeny tiny little platform that was very high, and I am afraid of heights. And you had to then reach out to grab that bar. And that was probably the most terrifying moment of my life. So, but that sounds lovely, actually. That sounds like trotting and then being uplifted.
Being
That kind of
uplifted.
sounds really
So,
nice.
and you get this great view to enjoy that. It would be like a drone just looking over the whole.
Right. And
So
it is, I mean, I cannot, if you've not been to the Dolomites, it is just, you can't even believe it. It's just, it just seems otherworldly because it just so much is
the Winter
like the
Olympics are
sound
going to
of the
be there
music.
this year. Tune into the Winter Olympics and be inspired and go. It's
Oh, true, 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 true. So, wow, well, this has been really great. Any advice for somebody who is, just struggling and uh wants, wants to just take that first step, what would you advise that first step would be? Like just as far as like making a decision or, like just
You're worth it. Make a decision to
mm,
take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. You can't really do that and well until you've taken care of yourself. It's
that's
easier
so
to feed
true.
your soul than to feed your stomach. So start start with taking care of yourself because you're worth it. The other thing for maintenance is what I found is that it's looking for other non-scale victories. Again, I write down my visions. My vision for I retire hopefully in 5 years is what I'm hoping. I want to walk the Camino with my husband.
Mm,
That's one of our goals for that end year. I want to be a good example to my younger brothers and sisters of how to age gracefully and adventurously and to keep making goals. I'm not going to be sitting in the corner. I'm trying to learn new things. That's one of the other goal setting opportunities that I've learned through the program. So I'm learning guitar and I'm doing doable goals.
what? You're learning
That's a start.
guitar? That's so
Teaching
cool.
myself guitar. My husband is a woodworker. He made a guitar. We don't play music. I love music. I have it on all the time. So my first goal was to learn how to play Happy Birthday. I thought I can learn how to play Happy Birthday on this. I'll be happy. I can play about 3 songs. I was very happy when my husband said, "Well, it sounds like music now, at least something." I can only play very slow songs, but I keep trying and I just keep practicing. When we were going to Italy, I was practicing my Italian, practicing going there. I had a little bit of a short circuit when we were, if you're up in the Dolomites, it's a lot of Latin, or their version of Spanglish is German and Italian together, like ciao denki. They're not all at the same time, and everybody's talking, and I've been practicing my Italian and on Duolingo, and I was ready to go, and finally I was just like, gracias. I don't even know what to say anymore.
It's a tough language. We've been watching a lot of Italian TV shows over the last couple of years when my husband's very good at languages and he's just like, I can't wrap my mind around this one. He knows Spanish, he knows
And
French.
so we go there, but I set just other goals for myself besides just a number goal. And I get on, I do the scientist thing with stepping on the scale and figure out more clothes, what kind of adventure we're going to do. That's my new goal is like adding more stretching to my criteria. And so I like the journaling portion of your program too. So if you don't even know where to start writing down where you see yourself in a month, where you want to see yourself in 3 months, where you want to see yourself in a year, and start with that. And then how can I make that happen? Then
Yeah.
look back.
Yeah, I love that. That's really, really great advice. I know for a lot of our maintainers in our community, it not having that struggle anymore because it takes up so much brain space and so much of our time. Like it is a hobby. I think a lot of times that void that is created, unless you step into like what you're talking about, challenging yourself to that next goal or following your heart and with a dream like the parasailing, or, like you need to kind of keep moving the dream forward, or else you fall back into that same, going back into that same loop. And there is that tender time as you enter into maintenance where that is, so that was really great advice, Marie. Thank you.
And just remember, the more emotionally drained, tired you feel, a nap doesn't necessarily help with that. I found that moving does. I used to think that I was emotionally drained. I need a nap after work. I need that walk after work.
Mm,
That gives me the energy. So maybe asking yourself, are you feeling emotionally drained, or are you truly physically drained and need the sleep? Some people do, but sometimes a walk will give you that extra energy you need. You don't have to do much, just walk around the block and see how that wakes you up and see how it makes you feel.
yeah, I had this client who was a nurse who was significantly overweight, and she had diabetes, and like you, just in the sense of her husband, she enrolled him in just starting to walk after dinner. And they started with half a block. And then that built to going around the block. And then it built to 2 blocks. And then she was walking, eventually 2 miles, 3 miles a night. She released 50 pounds. But it works against that feeling of fatigue.
It's
The idea of it. You have to, and having somebody engage with you, it's so helpful.
super helpful.
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah. Well, Marie, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
and your.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like I've just gone paragliding, gliding in the Dolomites, walking us through that. That was awesome. And we will look forward to having you back on the Thin Thinking podcast. But thank you for being an amazing coach during the fall shift too.
Thank you. Thank you. I love the program and I hope people look into it.
All right, Marie, I appreciate you and thank you so much.
Thank you. You have a good day.
Wow, were you impressed? Would you go paragliding? Oh my gosh, that sounds wonderful, but I don't know. I don't know. I know my husband wouldn't. So I'd have to go with a girlfriend. I'm going to think about it. Why don't you think about it too? It does sound amazing. Well, thank you, Marie, for your story and the inspiration. I just get so uplifted by our members who just go out and do these amazing things. after releasing their weight. And again, not just because of the weight, but because the way they have changed their relationship with themselves. So make sure you sign up for the free masterclass. Don't be shy. The link is in the show notes, or go to www.shiftweightmastery.com/free, and have a great week. And remember that the key, and probably the only key to unlocking the door of the weight struggle, is inside you. So keep listening, keep finding it. I will be here next week, right in the same place. So come on in. Okay, I'll see you next week. Do you want to dive deeper into the mindset of long-term weight release? Head on over to